12th, 2017, and my name is Bill McCamley. I'm a state representative from Las Cruces and Mesilla with your legislative update for the day. So the first thing I want to talk about is on Friday afternoon, we passed a bill out of my committee by Nathan Small, who's a fellow rep from Las Cruces, to add value-added agriculture to the state's Economic Development Act. So what does this even mean? When we grow things in the state, and we do a lot of pecans and chilies and soybeans over on the east side, it's a huge area for job growth here in New Mexico. But a lot of times we ship them away to another state to do the processing. So if we do milk here, it goes somewhere else for cheese, or if we do grapes, could it go somewhere else for wine? So what we're trying to do is bring those processing facilities here, those things that add value to primary agricultural products, and those types of industries like winemaking, like creating salsa, like doing dairy, really create longer term jobs here in the state. So allowing for those industries to take advantage of things like the New Mexico Finance Authority by adding it into this act is hopefully a small but real significant step into helping create more jobs here in New Mexico. In the evening on Friday, the House Bill 50, which is the gun safety bill, passed another committee and will be heading to the floor of the legislature. Now, I gave an update on this before. This is the background check bill where it requires any sales, so over the internet or at gun sales or gun shows, to mirror that is what is done right now at when you purchase a firearm at a store. You have to go through a federal background check to make sure that you don't have a criminal history or you don't have a history of real mental illness. And so there was a provision in there, which I believe has been taken out, that made a background check requirement for loaning weapons. But I think that has mostly been worked out as it heads to the floor, and we'll see where that is. On Saturday, yesterday, there was a 3-hour meeting of the Education Committee to talk about adding testing and subsequent evaluation of teachers based on testing into state law. The governor was trying to ratchet back her requirements for that in order to get it into law. Now, right now, that is just in rule. What does that mean? The Secretary of Education can kind of just do this. If you put it into law, it requires, no matter who the governor is, to do these sorts of things. And I can tell you, you aren't going to get a much more emotional topic for many people in communities than testing in schools. As kids are getting stressed out, it's driving teachers to distraction. I know that there was a news story about a special education teacher who said, the best that I can do, if everything goes right on these testing, is average, because her students are in really hard ways, right? They're having emotional problems, they're having problems at home, and it doesn't allow her, because of the testing strategy, to receive those higher evaluations, no matter how hard she works. And I've actually heard this from a couple other teachers as well. So that actually died in a vote in a committee, so that will not be done this year. Lastly, I actually got to get home this weekend. It just kind of worked out that I didn't have any committees late Friday night or on Saturday, and I got to go home and visit my girlfriend. I surprised her. I called her outside her door and pretended I was in Santa Fe, and then knocked on her door, and she thought that was it was surprising, and the look on her face was worth the trip. But it kind of puts things in perspective. Even though it's a 4-hour trip home, an 8-hour round trip, I was able to do that. And when you look at what's going around the country right now with some of these immigration issues that are coming around, where if I'm from one of these countries that Trump tried to ban, I can't go home and see my family. Or if I'm here undocumented and I might have moved here when I was 6 years old, do I go see family members? Can I go back and see folks and not come back? It kind of puts everything into perspective how lucky I've got it that I'm not in one of these places. And it really gives me some empathy in some of these laws that we're proposing here at the state level to be more empathetic and try to put ourselves in other people's shoes in terms of, these are real people trying to make lives for themselves, and are we just being punitive because some folks are scared of things that they shouldn't be scared of? So, as always, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, I'd love to try to answer any of those, and I hope everyone had a lovely weekend. I'll be back at you tomorrow. Bye.